in a cabin up the mountain near the pine and oak.
Hello everyone, Carbon Wizard here. Welcome back to the channel. Last time we explored how to release your inner artist, and today, how about we dive into the rich history of wood carving and whittling. I'll also be sharing insights on the carving knives in my collection and highlight which ones are a great starting point for maybe you're a beginner. This video will cover the fundamentals helping newcomers understand where do I begin on this carving journey. So let's get started. You notice behind me, it's one of the oldest wood carvings in the world. The Shanghai sculpture is estimated to have been carved 11,500 years ago during the early Ordovician period. And it's twice as old as the Egypt's Great Pyramids. The wood it's carved from is approximately 12,000 years old. It was discovered in 1890 in Russia at a peat bog and is displayed in the Start Region Museum of Local Lore in Yekaterinburg, Russia. So you've seen carvings and you've seen people whittling, and you thought, where do I begin? Well, it all starts with a good knife. The first thing I would recommend is learning how to sharpen your knife. But for right now, we'll just go over the different knives that you can get. One of the best ones is the OCCT carving knife. This one here is one of my favorites. This one here is a detail knife, like doing small eyes, stuff on the sculptures. Just got this one. It's from Badger State Knives. And I'm not an affiliate with any of these. I'm just sharing what I use. This one here is actually a beaver craft knife. The only issue you might have with this one is keeping it sharp. But other than that, it does alright once you get it sharp. If you're just a beginner, it's not that expensive. The Flex Cut. This is a Flex Cut rough out knife. You definitely need a rough out knife and a detail knife, but you don't have to have that. You can do it with a pocket knife, but we'll go over more. This one here is a special knife. This one's meant for like carving tree branches and stuff like that. It's a North Bay carving knife. Notice it's got a different shape to it, but it helps you carve the bigger branches and stuff like that. All the different types of wood. Just a deep holler knife. They're made in Tennessee. It's a pretty decent knife. It stays pretty sharp. And then these are the ones you probably really don't want unless you have to. This was just a cheap set that I got off Amazon, but the problem with the cheap ones is keeping them sharp. But this one I kind of got sharp. It's kind of like a Sloyd knife, that's what you would call it. And this is another version of that. But see how thick it is? That's where you run into issues when you're carving with the wood. Where it's so thick. This is just a cheap set that you could start out with for just learning. And even a box cutter knife that I modified, but I wouldn't recommend this if you're a beginner. But later on, if you wanted a fancier knife but you just didn't have the money, once you get used to handling a knife and sharpening them, you could use a box cutter knife. And then we have the Beaver Craft Sloyd knife. This is for like taking a bunch of wood away, carving up a bunch of wood. And then if you're on the go like me, sometimes at work, I want to be carving, but I don't want to bring all these knives. And it has a few extra tools, but this is the Flex Cut jackknife 2.0 for whittling. It has V tool on it, carving blade, fork, U-gouge. This would be good if you're on the go. You just want to carry something in your pocket. And just your old grandpa's carving knife. The problem with these, when you go to carve, see how that's swinging? You got a chance of getting hurt when you go to carve because this can split, close in on your hands, and you wind up going to the ER and get some stitches. So here's the basic knives, and along with these knives, one thing that you're going to need is some kind of strop. Now, this is one from Flex Cut. It's for gouges as well as knives. So this side you can use your knives on. This side you'd use your gouges on, sharpened in. But we'll talk about gouges later on. You can either use the Flex Cut, or really all you need is a piece of leather. When you get some honing compound, it's Flex Cut. It comes with that yellow one. I think this piece of leather came with the knife. Yes, from Beavercraft. It comes with the green. The white I bought for a different project. But really, if you want the best, I would go with this Zam off Amazon. It's a pretty good compound. It not only sharpens your knife, but it gives the blade a little shine. There's that strop. And then I made one strop. This is just a piece of leather from a belt. I put the Zam on it. You can go that route. Then also I made a bigger one. I took a pine board. I just super glued it to this board. Now when you do super glue it, you want the rough side facing you. It'll capture all the compound when you're sharpening your knives. And we'll go over that later on. So I want to go over the knives now. We can kind of go over, let's go over the different cuts, because that's something you're going to have to learn. There's a few different cuts that you have to learn when using the knives, and we'll go over that. Alright, so we went over the different knives. So you have a rough out, a detail knife, a Sloyd knife, and each knife serves a different purpose. But next, I just want to go over just starting out whittling. You just grab a stick from the yard. Now you notice these knots. You want to try and find one that doesn't have as many knots to make the process a little bit easier if it doesn't have the knots. It's hard to cut through these with a knife or any blade at that point. So you get your stick. I'm going to use this North Bay knife. It's pretty good for this. We'll call this like a sampler stick. You can get you any kind of sampler stick and just practice your basic whittling shapes and cuts. So you'll have 5 different cuts that you can make that are good to learn. Your V cut, your stop cut, your ball cut, a push cut, and then just your normal straight cut. So everybody probably be able to do a straight cut. That's just where you hold the stick and you just make a cut like this. That would do your straight cut. Normal old straight cut. Alright, so we went over the straight cut. About a stop cut. Stop cut. Push in really hard with the blade. What you're doing, I don't want to remove any more of this wood. So you just come up to that stop cut. This would be your stop cut. So you don't remove more wood than what you want to. what a stop cut would look like. Alright, so we got our stop cut, our straight cut, our stop cut. We'll go and make it a little deeper. And then you have your V cut. The V cut is exactly what it sounds like. So you do like a stop cut first. That's not a good example. So when you're making the V cut, holding the knife at a 45-degree angle, essentially making a V into the wood. See how that looks like a V, almost? Alright, and then a push cut. Push cut, you use your cutting hand, then you use your thumb in the back of the blade to get extra push. Use your thumb as a motor to push the blade. I'm just holding with this hand and pushing with my left hand, the thumb on my left hand. It gives you extra power, especially when you're carving a hard wood like this. It's a sycamore I just found laying in the yard. So that's what your push cut is. So we went over straight cut, stop cut, V cut, and a push cut. The push cut, you can kind of make like a valley too into it. So next, be the ball cut, like shaping the wood. So to do that, put a stop cut. Put a stop cut right here. Stop cut right here. Actually, we'll take that stop cut all the way around. Going all the way around the wood. And we meet together where we started. Do the same thing around here. Let me stop right here and say, you should have a glove on. Let me go ahead and put my glove on. Any kind of leather glove or cut resistant glove. I like the leather gloves, that way I can kind of feel what I'm holding. A lot of problems I have with because the knife is steel, you can still cut through the glove. You know you're wearing a knife, so that is a caution. I'll go up to this stop cut and get it all the way around. What I'm going to try and do here is make a little ball into the stick. Okay, stop cut. Got all this excess off. Go to the bottom stop cut. Cut up to that. Now, I'm not a professional. I just wanted to share some of my techniques, maybe help you out. Hopefully this helps you out. Just remember when you're whittling, carving with a knife, you don't have to be perfect. It's all about having fun and creating stuff. Create anything you want to. Remember Bob Ross? I don't know if anybody's ever watched him. He always called it happy little mistakes. can do that with whittling, as long as you ain't making a mistake where you cut yourself. But happy little accidents as you carve, the wood to kind of talk to you. Once you get used to it, it'll tell you what it wants you to do. You can read the grain. That's some important things to learn too. The grain of the wood.
Scarred by war, but now he's healing through his knife and
Going through that
micro
stop cut
carvers.
again. I'm just trying to round it around,
Memories
make a
etched
little ball.
deep in gray lines. Stories find a life in wood. Pain turns to art in his
And
crowded
see, once you learn all
workshop,
these cuts, you put
bringing
them all
joy
together
where
basically.
shadows
You can
stood.
make stuff,
Carving
butter
dreams from
knives,
battles ruined,
maybe a magic wand,
healing wounds
pretend
with
magic wand,
tools in hand. From broken
gifts for
past
your
to
friends and family.
hopeful future, bringing joy where shadows stood. Lines of beauty cradle sorrow, each detail a breath of life. Wood transformed through struggle's journey, art from chaos cuts like a knife.
And as you carve, you'll build up
Every
muscles
chip
in your
that's
hands, which will
fallen
make it
frees him.
easier. So when you first start out, don't get
Every stroke
discouraged.
reveals a
It
heart.
takes a while to get the hand strength to actually use
Light
the
to
knife.
those who gaze upon it, finds redemption in each part. Carving dreams from battles ruined, healing wounds with tools in hand. From broken past to hopeful future, bringing joy where shadows stood.
Going with this, trying to make it round as we go. Notice I'm turning the stick all the way around, so I get the same cuts on all the sides. Just trying to make a little spear here, a little circle. And this is a part of history, really. I mean, you saw the ancient Russian carving. Humans have been carving wood forever.
Wood whispers tales under his touch. Scarred by war, but now he's healing through his knife and micro carver's hush. Memories etched deep in grain lines. Stories find a life in wood. Pain turns to art in his crowded workshop, bringing joy where shadows stood. Carving dreams from battles ruined, healing wounds with tools in hand. From broken past to hopeful
Yeah.
future,
Worked on the top
every
part.
share's
Now we're gonna
what
work on the
he
bottom part.
understood.
Starting to get her shape.
Lines of beauty cradle sorrow, each detail a breath of life. Wood transformed
And all my
through
dog's barking in the
struggle's
background.
journey, art from chaos cuts like a knife. Every
Sorry about
chip
that.
that's fallen frees him.
But
Every stroke reveals a heart.
I work full time
Brings
and
light to
try to
those
make
who
YouTube videos when I
gaze
can.
upon it. Finds
Lately, I've just been doing
redemption
the lives.
in each part.
You can catch me every Monday,
Carving
5
dreams from
p.m. on
battles
Mondays.
ruined,
I'll do a live.
healing wounds
If
with
you like what you see
tools in
here,
hand.
I normally do
From
like a little
broken
carving and
past to hopeful
we have like a
future,
chat. You can meet some other
every
carvers that come
share's
into my
what he
channel.
understood.
Just like that.
Carving dreams from
So I have
battles
like a little ball
ruined,
shape.
healing wounds with
A little bit of
tools
work.
in hand.
But you can just get
From
lost in this.
broken
You're having a
past
bad
to
day.
hopeful future, every
Come
share's what
home,
he
grab you a stick,
understood.
and just heal. It can help you heal. I'm a Kentucky Army National Guard veteran, Iraqi war veteran. Sometimes when I've had a bad day, I found carbon to help me. Take the negative energy and turn it into something good. There's enough badness going on in this world today. Something simple as carving wood. And even Jesus used wood. He was a carpenter. His dad was a carpenter. If it was good for Jesus, maybe there's a reason he carved wood. He knows he was under a lot of stress. Took all the sins of all of us humans on the cross. Just going around smoothing out everything. But that's your basic cuts. You learn these 5 cuts, you can move on and create even more stuff. Maybe something like this guy, a mountaineer man, or maybe a bear. Or Cinco de Mayo's coming up, so I made this little cactus guy, the sombrero. And you can give that to kids or keep it for yourself. Just give it as a gift for somebody. All right, so we went over the basic cuts. Now we made a lot of cuts with this knife, so you probably need to sharpen it. So let's go over that part. So you're carving, you feel like your knife's getting a little dull, it's not making the same cuts. So let's go over the stropping part. Now there's a bunch of different ways how to strop the knife, but we'll go over that in a few minutes. Okay, so we're just using this knife, and these are just little knife covers. You want to protect your knives, so if you accidentally drop them or anything like that, plus it's carbon steel. That's the best blade you're going to be able to get is a carbon steel blade. But the only problem with carbon steel is if it gets wet, it's going to start rusting on you. So that's why it's a good idea to get you some kind of knife cover. I made these out of a 1x1 block. All right, so we got our blade, and each blade's different, the shape and the profile. And so when you go to sharpen, you want to lay it flat and just raise it up just a little bit. And then you're going to do, what I do is 20 strokes. And then you lift up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, we did this side of the blade. So let's Flip the blade over, hold it flat on there, tilt it up just a little bit. We're going to go backwards, away from the cutting edge, 20 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so now this blade is resharpened by using the leather and the compound. Now as you see, I wanted to use the bigger one. Now, this one could be for my smaller blades, but see how much past the blade goes, so it wouldn't be a good idea. And I could have used this one, but it's shorter strokes. I feel like it sharpens it better if you got a longer route to go. Alright, so that's how you sharpen a knife. And once you work on your honing, it can be just as therapeutic as carving the wood, just sharpening all your knives afterwards, after you get through doing a few carvings. You kind of want to do it like maybe every 30 minutes while you're carving. So that's why I have a few different knives. That way I have one that's already sharp, ready to go while I'm in the process. And then I can sharpen them all later after I get finished with my project. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this helps you out. Just a little of my techniques. I'm no professional, but maybe this can help you out and you can find a new carving journey. And this will help you out. If you have PTSD or anything like that, it can be very therapeutic, like I said in my other video. Please like, comment, and share the video if you find it appeasing. Thanks for stopping in. I'm the Carving Wizard, Perry Lowe Jr., and I hope you have a nice day.